Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see the presentation. Uh-oh, hold on. This one. There we go. And okay, so this presentation is called Plugged In Parents. It is from Common Sense Media, which is a resource that our district uses to teach digital citizenship and online safety. Common Sense Media is a great resource for educators and parents and kids to find information on the different media that's available, technology that's available for kids. They have information about apps and books and movies. They give lots of like movie reviews and tips and things like that. So I'm going to show you how to navigate the site later so you can see, but I highly recommend that you guys utilize this website. It's great. Okay, so this just tells you a little bit about Common Sense Media, a trusted guide for families, educators, and advocates who want to help kids thrive. They provide resources about media and technology. So I have my notes right here. So I'm going to be looking, if you see me looking like that, it's because I'm reading my notes. So it'll be better if I read my notes. So we're in this brave new world, especially now. Everything is just our kids do is all online a lot. And so it's important to know how to navigate this with devices and the technology that's available. And because technology changes so fast, it's not easy to keep up with the latest gadgets or the latest apps or websites that our kids are using. So they use a lot of media. And I think that parents are always, we're concerned. We want to, know that we know what they're watching or what they're using so that they won't get hurt or get into trouble. So we're going to look at this little video that's just kind of like a day in the life of a kid.
My name is Justin. I'm 9.5, and I have an iPad, a computer. I also use my mom's phone sometimes. I watch TV and I listen to Sonos. Well, I usually have my media time on the weekends only, and I usually play maybe an hour in the morning. Then I might have 30 minutes watching TV. Then I might have breakfast.
My name is Lauren. I'm 11 years old, and the devices we have in our home are the family iPad, the TV, my phone, the Wii, and my laptop. On weekends, I watch TV. I think I spend the most time on my phone, either playing games or texting my friends. I started using Instagram in 6th grade. One of the things I like about Instagram is that I can see what my friends are doing, and I look at the things that my friends post and post things of my own sometimes, and all of my friends have Instagram.
I usually play Minecraft a lot because you could find ingredients and build something with your own stuff. If I didn't have my media time, I would probably feel kind of sad, and I probably would feel mad that I didn't get it.
Okay, he'd feel sad and mad if he didn't have his media time. Okay, I have a question for you guys, and you can just answer in the chat if you want to, and then Ms. Green or Mr. Bell can kind of pull out our answers for us. What are your biggest concerns about digital media? Just want to kind of see where you guys are thinking, what concerns you have. I know one of mine with my kids, I didn't tell you guys, I am the librarian at Lake Highlands, which you know, and I have 2 children who attend Lake Highlands, a 3rd grader and a 1st grader. And one of my biggest concerns is always that they'll just run into something inappropriate. That's like my biggest concern. After that, I would think, like, are they spending too much time on it, passive time instead of like time creating things? Are they just consuming information instead of using it to create, but the biggest one would be like, are they safe?
Yeah, in the chat, we've had 3 parents that have all said kind of the same thing.
Okay.
Age appropriate content, exposure to something inappropriate. And I am not a parent yet, but that's my big concern for our kiddos too, is that
Yeah.
they'll either come across something inappropriate or come across someone that can communicate with them and share things that are not appropriate.
Yes. Okay. Second question, what are some of digital media's strengths? Because they are tools that we all use. We live in a digital world. I don't think it's ever going to go back. So it's here to stay, and it's probably going to get more intense. So we kind of want to think about what are some of the strengths. I would think, when I think about it, I think like the ability to connect with people, lots of different people, which is a lot of what our kids like to do, especially the teens or the preteens. They like to use it for connection. And I think that's a strength, especially, I mean, we've all seen now how digital media helps us enable us to connect with each other from a distance when we can't be face to face. So
Yeah, I've also got in the chat, communicate with friends and family,
mhm.
and for information and research, which I definitely agree with both of those.
Yes. We have a lot more research right at our fingertips. We can get answers to questions so much faster now than, as a librarian, I know like when I used to have to like go find a book and look through the encyclopedia and all this kind of stuff. And now kids, and adults, all of us when we're trained properly, we can find good information quickly for questions that we need to answer. Okay, thank y'all for responding in the chat. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, how do we use media in balance as a family and find quality content, set expectations around healthy use to prevent conflict, and raise media savvy consumers and creators? We don't want to just, our fears are legitimate fears, but we don't want to just throw out the digital media, and we want to teach our kids to be responsible users and to use it with balance. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, how to be safe and how to have media balance and find quality content. And I hope to help you guys give some tips about how you can make a family plan about using media. Okay, so it's all about the balance. Ask yourself, is my child physically healthy, getting enough sleep, connecting socially with family and friends in any form, engaged with and achieving in school, pursuing interests or hobbies in any form? Like my kids, they love Minecraft, and I mean, it's the way that they can create. So that's an interest and a hobby for them. Having fun and learning their use of digital media. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go back to that one. So if you're, just the fact that you're on this call means that I think that you're probably doing a good job, because you are concerned and you want to be educated about it. And so we just want to make sure that it's all about the balance. Like in the previous, the video that we watched, we saw the kid and how he, he did his iPad, he did his phone, he was probably using it for school, but he was using all of those tools for different things. And that's just the world that our kids live in right now. I mean, it's just a digital world. So we just need to make sure that they're getting enough physical energy out, physically healthy, and getting enough sleep, and still connecting socially and not just, zoned out. So it's about the balance. But if you're worried about doing it right, you're probably not doing it wrong. That's what I want to say.
I have one more concern in the chat that I think we'll probably
Yes.
get to later, and if not,
Okay.
we'll discuss in the Q&A at the end. But bullying is another big concern with digital media.
Yes, we will talk about cyberbullying. That's a big one. Okay, so since they're using it, what do you want them to get out of digital media? You can just kind of answer in the chat. A, fun, B, learning, C, connection, or D, I just don't want it to mess them up.
We've gotten a few, all of the aboves.
All of the above, yes. Okay. I think that that's great. And I think that that's like what we're talking about the balance, using it where they can use it for fun, learning, and connection. And then we'll talk about how to keep them safe so that we're not messing them up. Okay. Okay, so these are just some little tips about how we can, the choices that we can let our kids make. So we want to be choosy with the media that they're looking for. You know, you can go into, I don't know, you probably, I'm sure everybody has Netflix or Amazon Prime, and you can go in and set settings for your children so that they can't watch certain things. I have like settings on our Netflix account. They each have their own account, so that whatever comes up for my boys on their, when they're on their setting, is just, you know, kid things. They, on Prime, I think we have like a password to where they can't access a show that's with adult content without knowing what the code is. So those are some tips that you can use. We do that with our cable too. Like, you know, they can't, certain things they can't watch if it's a certain rating unless they have a code. So that's a way that we can, you know, keep them safe. I know my third grader, he gets up really early on Saturday mornings to watch TV, and I'm not getting up that early. And so it gives me comfort to know that he can't access anything inappropriate unless he has like that passcode to do that. And then this slide is just talking about looking for apps and TV shows with positive messages and educational value, which when they're little, it's pretty easy to find those things. It gets a little tougher as they get older. They want to go their own way as they get older and they declare their independence. So we have to think about what was most important to us when we were tweens: friends, family, fitting in, self-expression, all of the above.
A lot of people saying friends, fitting in, all of the above, friends, family, and fitting in.
Yes, for sure. I know as a tween, I think, you know, friends and fitting in, you know, is probably really, you know, important to them. And so it's the same, you know, it was important to us. It's the same for them. They're still developing the same way that we were. It's just that they have more powerful tools. Like maybe we, you know, were able to, we didn't have all these gadgets. We went outside more and played with friends, but they're connecting with their friends through devices. And so it's some of the same reasons why they want to do it, for connections. This is just a quote. Adults don't get it. They think I'm addicted to technology, but I'm not. I'm addicted to my friends. And I thought about this because my youngest first grader, he loves, like I said, they love to play Minecraft. And one day after school, he was like, I have to meet so-and-so, a kid, at 5:25 today because we're going to play Minecraft. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cute. How did they just like discuss that and make a plan? But I liked the fact that he was wanting to meet a friend to play together. And so that's what they, you know, they use it for.
If you walk in any classroom at LHE at 3 o'clock around dismissal time, you will hear a lot of kids making plans to meet up on some game. It's wild.
Yeah. So we have to, like I said, instead of just throwing the technology out because we're afraid of it, we want to train them, just like we would train them to ride a bike, to be the training wheels. So here's some ways that we can set ourselves up for success. These are just some best practices. We want to sit down and use the media with our kid. That way we can know how it works, especially like those games that have chats, are like, you know, maybe people can come in and start chatting with the kids, like Roblox is one of them. So we can kind of sit down and watch it with them to see what's going on and how it works. Know your own rules. Like each family will have their own individual rules for using technologies. When my kids use their devices, like if they're on like a personal device, like an iPad, our expectation is that they're in the family room using it. They don't get to take it to their rooms and use it. You know, I think that they would be fine as they become teenagers. I don't know that I would want them to do that. So I'm trying to set the expectation now that when we use devices or things, we use them in the family room. But every family is different. You know, So you just set your expectations and make sure your kids know. Connect media to real life. You know, when I sit down sometimes and I watch the cartoons with my boys that they're watching, and I try to talk about things that happen, you know, like the choices that the characters make. How would this be in real life? Would you make a choice? What better choice could they have made? Talk about the commercials and advertising. That is a big one that I've been noticing a lot, especially after a certain time of night. Certain commercials will come on that I might want to cover my kids' eyes or whatever, you know, and I'm just starting to have conversations with them about what they see, because a lot of times they'll ask me what they're looking at or what's that or what's going on. This one is a big one, and we talk to the kids about this when we're teaching digital citizenship. Encourage creation as well as consumption. And I tell the kids that they want to use media to create things, because that's going to exercise a different part of their brain. So like if they're drawing something or trying to solve a puzzle or, you know, building something on media, that's a great balance for them, because it's using that creative part of that brain, their active part. When they're just watching a YouTube video or watching a show or maybe even playing a video game, it's kind of consumption. So that part is not, that active part of their brain isn't working as much. So we want to encourage creation as well as consumption, active learning instead of just passive. And then talk about digital citizenship, like bullying. We'll be talking about that later. And model the media behavior that you want to see in your kids. So I know that I'm very, very guilty of always having my phone in front of my face when I'm with my kids. And so I have to try to remember to model, you know, balance with them. Okay, so we're going to talk about these three things: browser hacks, some hacks that you can use with your browser. And I'm going to post a link in the chat later with a parent guide, so that you don't have to like frantically write all these things down, because all this information is going to be in the parent guide. So there are some browser hacks. We'll talk about social media, and then phones, which is a big topic. Okay. So here's some browser hacks we can use. There's different with like Safari, Internet Explorer, Google, they all have different hacks, but I'm just going to talk about Google because that's the one I use the most. Google Safe Search is something you can use. This just gives you a little information about it, how you can filter explicit results using Safe Search. And it just kind of tells you what you can do. I'm going to demonstrate for you if I can. I was trying to practice it, but I feel like our browsers, because this is a district laptop, is already set for Safe Search. So it's kind of hard to show you. But let me just show you, like if you see my arrow up here, I'm going to can y'all see what I'm doing on my screen? Okay, so if you go down to settings, and then you, if this is just for Google Chrome, but each internet search engine, you can do this. So you go to settings, and then if you go over to, it's privacy and security, and then you go to security, and it's under, you can choose like the browsing, enhanced protection or standard protection. That kind of helps you know like a way that you can keep them safe. So just adjust your browser settings. Then what else? Let's see. Safe Search can be turned on for personal accounts, children's supervised devices, or workplace or school devices. So that's one thing you can do. Filter explicit results using Safe Search. That's something that I would try to, you know, turn on to mine. You can do it with your phone or your tablet or your computer, any of those options. And then browser customization. This is just a little video. It's just 1 minute long.
This tutorial is designed to show you how to create a Google Chrome supervised user. Educators and parents may want to create supervised users if they wish to control the content that their students and children see. First, log in to Google Chrome. Then go to the Chrome menu on the top right side. Click the 3 bars and then scroll down to Settings. In Settings, you can go to the Users tab to see which users you have. You will be called First User. If you want to change that, click there and then click Edit. You can change the name to your name. If you'd like to create a supervised user, like I have here, click Add New User. Google will come up with a silly name for you. You can choose your own icon and give it your own name. The last step is to check. This is a supervised user managed by your account. You can learn more by clicking Learn More. All you'll have to do now is click Create. Please be aware that if you're using a school Google Apps account, your admin settings may restrict you from creating supervised users. Check with your admin to learn more. This tutorial is just
Okay, so with that one, you can go in, and I couldn't show you on my computer because it's linked to the school, but you can go in and create users for your children, and that way you can monitor what they see. You can see their search history. You can kind of do some restriction. So that's on Google. So I recommend doing that. And then you can also look for kid-friendly search engines. These are just some of the examples from Common Sense Media. There's this Kid Info, Kiddle. I haven't used any of these. DuckDuckGo, I haven't used them because we use Google and I try to restrict to the searching, but these are all great. You can go to Common Sense Media and find these. And I'll show you later how you can get there. Okay, so those are just some browser hacks that you can use to keep your kids safe. Now we're going to talk about phones, to buy or not to buy. So kids want to, my 9-year-old is like, when can I get a phone? I'm like, when you're 25, because you're putting a computer in their pocket, you know, and it's a powerful tool, but it's also something that they need. And I know a lot of parents, especially like 6th graders, you know, 5th and 6th graders, you want them to have one so they can call you in an emergency. You can communicate with them. It kind of keeps you connected. And so each family has to make that decision. But I think that what we're saying is that go over the rules with your kids and teach them how to use it responsibly. When you're trying to decide whether it's time to get them a smartphone or not, do they show basic responsibility with time, valuables, and behavior towards others? And this is something that you can talk to them about. Like, when you can show me that you're responsible in other ways, I'll know that you'll be responsible enough for a phone. Are there reasons you need to be in touch with your kid to stay safe? Is there a social benefit to having one, a social cost to not having one? I think the social benefit and cost are really big with the kids right now because they see other kids having a phone. I know that our 13-year-old nephew lived with us for a couple of years, and he wanted a phone, and I needed him to have one because I would have to drop him off at band practice or whatever, and I needed to be able to communicate with him. Well, I got him a flip phone because I didn't want him to have a smartphone. And that was a big embarrassment to him. Like, he didn't want to use it in front of his friends. And so we have to think about, that's a big thing for them. And then respectful, do they generally follow rules? Will they agree to the limits that you set? And maybe it needs to be like a trial run to see, you know, like, I'm going to give you a little responsibility. Take it back if you're not following along. It's just, you know, what the training wheels. Think of like, this is the training wheels for a bike. We're training them with technology. Social media. This is a lot of what the kids do on their phones and their devices. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all those things. It's good for us to kind of know like what's going on with those apps and things, like get in there, like we said, use them with your kids, see how they work. This slide is just talking about kind of the differences between boys and girls and what they use their devices for. It says boys are from Xbox, girls are from Instagram. This is just some research that showed that, you know, boys spend a little bit more time using it for games, girls spend a little bit more time connecting through social media. But every kid is different, so. Myth or truth? Does social media alienate kids? What do you think? Do you have any comments?
I have some people saying true. Sometimes, I know that's kind of where I was at, like.
It can be alienating sometimes, especially with the cyberbullying. It can, so they're saying that it's a myth. Social media can strengthen relationships. It can be used to do good in the world, such as organizing around a cause or using an app. There's an app called Sit With Us. I haven't used it before, but it's an inclusive app, and most kids are just having fun. It says that 57% of all teens have made new friends online. Now that can be a little scary because we want to know who they're making friends with. But if it's, maybe they're connecting with other kids at school, maybe especially now when they're all like in their little pods and they might not get to talk to the kid that's in another classroom, then it can be a way to stay connected with friends that they miss. And again, it says 84% of boys who played networked games with friends feel more connected when they play online. So kind of like what Mr. Bell said, like at 3 o'clock, they start talking about how they're going to connect with each other after school, which is great stress relief for them, And then 60% of teen social media users have had online friends support them through tough or challenging times. So we want to just really talk to kids about the things they talk about on social media, appropriateness, being good citizens on there, because it's not like, when I was young, I just had the landline phone. And if my parents wanted to know what I was talking about, they would pick up the other end. Well, our kids are connecting through social media. So we want to just keep that conversation going and the lines of communication open with them about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And, I might need to spot check your phone or, at any time because I want to make sure you're being safe, things like that. Okay. But we want to not look at social media as necessarily being a bad thing if it's used in the right way, because even as adults, we use it to connect with each other. Okay, we talked about all those things. Here are some red flags for social media. Check the time. Make sure that it's age appropriate content. Even like, Facebook, all those Instagram, sometimes things pop up that are just not appropriate for kids. So we want to kind of look over their shoulder, make sure. Look for your public default settings. So like you want to make sure that you go in and make sure your child's account is private and not public, so that they can only friends or family members can see them, anyone who's allowed to see them. Want to turn off any location tracking. Real-time video streaming is probably not a good idea to have with them. Ads, you want to watch those. I have to watch those with my kids because they think it's a game and then they click it and try to buy something. Those temporary pics and videos, kind of like the Snapchat, you want to be, that's a red flag, because if they want it to disappear, then they might not want you to see it. Want to make sure that it has good reporting tools so that you can report bullying or anything inappropriate. You want to make sure that the anonymity, like, you want to know who your kid is talking with. It's like not any strangers trying to come and talk to them. And then the cyberbullying, which we're about to talk about too. So those are just some red flags to look for. And we want to talk to them about self-reflecting before we self-reveal, which is just kind of saying that we want to make sure that our kids know that before they post something online, they really want to think about what they're doing, because it's permanent. We might think, oh, I can take it down whenever I want, but you don't know who's gotten a hold of it, who's saved it. It can, we hear stories all the time about things coming up when kids try to go to college, something that they posted when they were in high school. So we just want to talk to our kids about being really reflective before they put their personal information out there. Here's some privacy settings, just example. Make sure that your kids have a private account, the posts are private, so that just their friends and family can see it. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about cyberbullying. Keyboards can make us careless and cruel. It's really easy for kids to get online and bully each other or say mean things about each other, hurt each other when they're behind a screen. They'll do things that they wouldn't do face to face. And we talk about that when we do talk about digital citizenship, about treating others with kindness and not saying things, mean to them online, because it's just as hurtful as if you were to say it to them face to face. The best approach is to report it, to encourage your kids, if they see someone else bullying someone else online, to be an upstander, and to say, hey, I don't think that's right. We're not going to play this game with you if you're going to keep calling this person names. I know with sometimes with the video games, when the kids play online together, they can start yelling at each other, calling each other names, taunting each other. And we want to talk to our kids about, like, if that happens, you get off, you report it, you tell your mom or dad. They can call that kid's mom or dad, or tell your teacher when you get to school. You can talk about, like, if you see someone bullying another person when you're playing a game or you're online, be an upstander. Tell them, we're not going to play with you if you continue to talk to us like that. Also collect proof, like screenshots or things. If they can take those, if someone's saying something inappropriate, that'll be good proof that they can have. Always tell them not to be afraid to involve others, and then limit the online access to those devices or the games or the sites. If people are bullying them, you want to monitor and limit that. Here's some digital citizenship that we just kind of talk to our kids about being internet safety, like about not putting your personal information online, privacy and security, relationships and communication. Talk to them about, how we talk to each other online, how we treat each other online. We want to talk about the digital footprints and how what we put out there about ourselves is permanent. People can track us with what we put out, and it sets our reputation. So we want to talk to them about that. Of course, the cyberbullying, and then information literacy. And that's just like, this is one where we talk about, and we talk about this in school, knowing what's an ad and what's not, knowing what's valuable information, or like information that they can trust versus information that can't be trusted, what's reliable versus not reliable. So we want to talk to them about all those sorts of things. That kind of helps them understand how to be safe on the internet. Like, my kids love to go to the little Google, that little circle thing. What do you call that? Siri? No, Google, I don't know what you call, but they go and they ask her everything. What's the weather? How old is so-and-so? When is so-and-so's birthday? And so we want to talk to them about how to navigate those things when they're looking for information, and how to figure out what's reliable and what's not. Okay, so it just says choose, check, and chat. Help kids make good choices, check up on what they're doing, and follow up with a chat about it. I know that it can be a little intimidating because these devices can it takes them outside of your home into a whole big world, but we want to make sure that we communicate with our kids. Just think about the training wheels on the bike. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the website to Common Sense Media. I think you'd really like it. So here's the website. It's just commonsensemedia.org. You can go for parents, and then it shows you, like, it's got movies, TV, books, games, apps, all these things. It has ratings. Like this Yes Day movie is like really, popular right now. It's got a full expert review so that you can know. It says that its parents say that it's for age 8+ kids say for 6+. And then it's got parent reviews on it. Parents can come here and they review, like this one parent said, fun family film, appropriate for all ages, elementary and up. I have 2 middle schoolers and we laughed our way through it. So if your kids want to see a certain movie and you don't know much about it, you can come here and look. It also has books, my favorite. So you can come and you can get book reviews, best book lists, and then apps and games. Click on that one so you can see. Sorry. There's a app reviews. So if your kids are wanting to download an app, you can kind of go here and it can tell you all about it. So you'll know before you let them get it. And then here's the parents need to know. This is what I really like, this parents ultimate guide to. So it's got all the things that, the kids like to play. Ultimate guide to Minecraft, ultimate guide to Fortnite, ultimate guide to YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Roblox, all those things. So you just, click on it and it's going to give you information about how it works, how to keep your kids safe on it. If there's any parental controls, it will tell you how you can set those. Okay, so that's commonsensemedia.org. And then I'm going to put a link in the chat with a parent guide from Common Sense Media. Let me see. let's see. Oh, and then here's a family media agreement, but it'll be in that link that I'm going to send you. And it just kind of tells you, like, just you can form, make it to fit your family, but it just talks about a pledge like, I will stay safe, I will think first, I will stay balanced. And it just opens up the discussion that you want to have with your kids. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this quote. When all else fails, tracking software might too, but he's saying that technology is going to help you, but it's not going to get away from the fact that you should be having more conversations with your kids. So we can set up all the tracking devices and things that we want to, but we really want to teach them how to make good choices with technology and how to be good digital citizens. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then I'm going to put in the chat the link to the parent guide. Let's see if that works. That should take you to a parent packet bundle. If you click on that, Mr. Bell, can you tell me if it worked for me, but I want to make sure it worked. Okay, and that parent bundle has lots of information, like a lot of the things that I went through and like even more. It just talks about, it gives you some like directions on how to set up those browser hacks, some information about YouTube, how to make that safe. It talks about the social media red flags, more about cyberbullying, all those things. And thank you guys for listening. Did we have any questions?
Mr. Bell, do you want to unmute people?
Yeah, if anyone has a question, I think they should be able to unmute themselves or put it in the chat and I can unmute you. I see a lot of thank yous to everybody. I don't really see any questions. Make sure to tell your friends if you think this would be good information for them, which I think this is awesome information for all parents and educators. We will put this on the PTA website, right, Jody? So I recorded this, I will send the recording out and we can kind of edit it and clip it down and put it on there. And then I've saved that link too, that if you want to put on the website, Jody. Alrighty, I don't think we have any questions, Gabby, just a lot of appreciate the information and
thank you all for listening. And if y'all have any questions, you can always email me and I'm navigating it with you. So we'll find the answers together.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Jody, for setting this all up and Gabby for the awesome presentation. You guys rock.
Bye.
Bye.